The Church of Rock.
Hey, Derek, do I have you on the line?
You sure do.
All right. I'm so excited you're here, and I just told the listeners I was playing that special song as a hint to the tie-in to what you're going to share about the song you and Sister Tracy performed.
Aw, you are so awesome, and your radio show is so amazing, and thank you for playing that. That was so cool to hear the Bay City Rollers on the radio in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome. It was a lot of fun. It's a fun song, and the song I'm highlighting by you and Tracy is Tonight I Pray, and do you want to tell us a little bit about that song and how it's connected with Saturday Night by the Bay City Rollers?
Sure. Back in the 70s, the Bay City Rollers, for a couple of years, were the biggest rock band in the world, selling more records than except the Beatles. I think they sold around 120 million albums in a very short span. And throughout their career, they had a couple of different lineup changes with a couple people coming and going. But one of the guys that joined the band in 1976 was a man named Pat McGlynn from Edinburgh, Scotland. And he was joined the band on guitar and stayed with them for a bit, totaling around 16 years of music and gigs and reunions and records. Well, all these years later, I'm now Pat's manager, and he hasn't done anything for quite a long time. And he's back now writing music and getting ready to release a new record possibly this year. And he and his lovely wife, Janine Andrews, wrote this great song, and my wife and I, Sister Tracy, decided to record it for charity, and we did.
Oh, cool. And so just rewinding a little bit, how did you become Pat McGlynn's manager?
Well, back last year, right after the Alameda fires, it's an interesting question because when the Alameda fires happened here in Oregon, so many of us lost so much of our physical possessions, and some of us lost homes. Well, we lost 2 storage units that contained 90 to 95% of everything we ever owned. And that included my pop culture collector's items from like the 70s and 80s. And I had some Bay City Rollers autographs and stuff because I saw those guys back in the day. Well, it prompted me in my kind of depression and about losing my items to try to get some of these autographs and records back to my collection again. And I decided to kind of do a retro thing and listen to some of the music from my teenage and childhood years. And I thought, hey, why don't I contact members of the Bay City Rollers to see where they're at these days and maybe interview them on the radio shows?
Yeah.
And so it led me down some crazy paths to finding all these different guys in different countries. And when I got to Pat McGlynn, I met a really awesome lady in England named Tufty, who was kind enough to turn me on to Pat's email, and we became friends rather quickly. And what turned out and started out to be a professional thing ended up being a very friendly thing, and that started, I think, last September, October, and now there probably hasn't been very many days since then that we haven't talked by phone or texted.
Wow. Tufty.
Yeah, and, being a fan of Pat, I wondered why he'd quit the music business, and just so many bad things have happened to so many musicians, Nicole, like, just in business practices and a lot of shady stuff. So Pat was kind of done, and I said, look, if you want to do music, you can guarantee one thing. I'm not going to rip you off or lie to you or use you or anything like that. Matter of fact, when I was 10 years old, there was a poster of Pat on my wall with the Rollers, and now here I am, age 55, like, writing music together,
Oh, my gosh, that's incredible, Derek.
And I think it's a God thing. I think it really is. I know some people interpret God differently, of course, but in the way that I mean God is the same way that you do. And Pat and I were both just at that time in our lives in a kind of a dark place, myself because of the fires and him because of his own private reasons. But when we met each other, we realized quite quickly that God kind of sent us together, and we both are happier being friends. We've helped each other out in a lot of ways. And it's a really great friendship we decided that the song Tonight I Pray should be used in a God-like way. Yeah. So we made a music video, and the music video has been completed. It was recorded right here locally in Jacksonville at Blue Jay Productions with the great Mark Thomas Johnson. He's worked with Craig Chiquiso of Jefferson Starship and others. And then the music video was done by Michael Garrett in Central Illinois, and we decided to make all proceeds and all donations to go to the SEVA Foundation, SEVA, because they do provide eyesight for folks in other countries with cataracts and that are blind, and they provided eyesight to over 4 million so far.
And you've been working with them for some time now, right?
Well, what we do is pretty much for about the last decade or so, anytime there's any chance of sending donations, or when I know people that are looking to do something nice, I'm always kind of like, hey, have you checked out SEVA? And we do a lot of donating, which we don't normally talk about unless we're trying to inspire others. And so we thought, hey, why not? If you check them out on the scale of charities, they've got a really high rating of putting pretty much all of the money that's donated to the cause it's donated for. Wow.
Well, this is the show to be inspiring others. If you're just tuning in, this is Soulshine. I'm DJ Starlight. I'm talking to Reverend Derek Moody of the Church of Rock here Sunday nights on KSKQ. And the show is a place for body, mind, heart, spirit, and soul, inspiration, and connection. So thank you for sharing about SEVA.org. That is inspiring. And again, tell us one more time how the song Tonight I Pray and the music video with the organization.
Well, it was only connected because of Pat and I. We both have a love of God in our hearts, and we talk about these things. And we decided, let's find a charity that's worthy, that's respectable. And it was started by Ram Dass. One of the co-founders was the great late Ram Dass, who's no longer in the physical body, but he's one of my and many other teachers. Also, Wavy Gravy, I believe, was one of the original members, board of directors. And since they're God guys too, we decided that we would take the Tonight I Pray song that was written by Janine and Pat, and we would make it into a beautiful little tune and film nothing but Southern Oregon mountains and just really splendorous, physical footage, which we got, and we put it all together and decided that at the end of the video, people could donate a little money if they like, instead of paying to see a performance. Hey, I'd like that video. I'm going to kick in, $20 to SEVA.
Yes.
That kind of thing. And you would be surprised at how many people sent copies of receipts that immediately donated to SEVA. So it really touched mine and really made Pat and Janine very, very proud.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Well, I love the high vibration you bring and how you always tie in God and some form of spirituality when you talk. Would you mind sharing for a moment before we play the song about Earth Heart Radio and how that is a spiritual show for you?
Sure. Thank you, Nicole. The Earth Heart Radio show started in 2019 in August on KSKQ. It's a 1-hour program that runs every Sunday at 2 o'clock, and it's basically 3 or 4 parts to the show. I usually have a guest on, and it's normally of a spiritual nature, but not always. Sometimes it's music and other things, which, again, isn't everything God, basically. So even if it's not a necessarily spiritual show that day, to me, it is still spiritual at its essence. But basically 80% of the shows are based on an interview with the guest. Then we do a spotlight of a saint, where we'll talk about a high-frequency soul that's temporarily inhabiting a human body, like the Dalai Lama, for instance, or Amma. We've spotlighted both of those entities. And then we have a positive news segment where we read positive news stories. And then between all of this, I play harmonious music from all over the world, just different types of Celtic and folk and country and just all kinds of music that makes you feel good.
Yes. So that's Sundays, Earth Heart Radio from 2 to 3 p.m. And one more question for you, since this is a spiritually based show. I might have asked you last time you were on, Derek. I don't remember, but it can't hurt to ask it again. What does spirituality mean to you, and how do you live that in your life?
Well, it just means trying to strive to be the best person I can. Basically, I believe that there's a few very basic reasons that we are even here in these human forms. One of them is to help ease the suffering of others. And so we can do that by bringing shows like Soulshine and Earth Heart and presenting beautiful things that are high frequency to people, maybe information they didn't know, maybe music to make them happy, maybe something to make them feel connected to others in the community, which is all just God-based. It means waking up every day and an opportunity to open the door for somebody out in public, or look somebody that's homeless in the eye and smile at them, or if somebody that's hungry, make sure they have a meal, or just every single day is an opportunity for selfless service. Recently, a friend of mine had done some really good work, and this person said, I think I'm good now for a while, and I was thinking, what a beautiful person you are, but I was thinking, man, I think for me it's more like every day when I wake up, it's a chance to do selfless service. And by doing that, I honor God, I honor myself. But there's bad days. You know how it is. We're all human.
Mm-hmm.
There's days you wake up and it's not spiritual at all feeling, but it still is,
Or we just want to end up focusing on ourselves, and we're like, oh, wait, I have to get back to being selfless again. That's mine.
I know. Me too. I can be so selfish so often, but then I try really hard to turn it around as I can.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Derek. I love you and Tracy so much. I love you two together, and I'm going to play your song.
Oh, thank you so much. Tracy wanted me to let you know. Thank you very much, too. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So the song, again, is Tonight I Pray, written by Pat McGlynn of the Bay City Rollers and his wife, Janine Andrews, and sung here by Reverend Derek Moody and Sister Tracy. Derek, do you have anything else you want to say to the listeners before I play your song?
I would like to say a big, huge thank you and a special shout out to these great musicians that without them we couldn't have done the song. Ariana Danielle, she is so amazing. She played the piano on the song. David Valley, he played the bass and the guitar, and also the harmony vocals that you hear. He's a wonderful singer, and without him, it wouldn't have been half as good as it is. And thanks to Mark Thomas Johnson for the drums, providing the drums and the bells and the whistles, and all the people that did the video work, Mark Unger and Riley and Dan Valdez and Old Man Slocum. Thanks to all those people.
Thank you, Derek. Here's Tonight I Pray.
Tonight I pray to the light of day, and I know I could have everyone but you. Tonight I pray to the light of day, and I know I could have everyone but you.
Thank you, Derek. Moody, Reverend Moody on lead vocals, and Sister Tracy, lead and backing vocals. Jet Dog was in that video. Lots of other amazing musicians and artists. Thank you to Blue Jay Productions in Jacksonville, Oregon. And it's a gorgeous song and video. Check out the video on YouTube. And thank you to Pat McGlynn and Janine Andrews for writing that beautiful song.